team with the expectations, especially coming off a playoff appearance last year?
The thing I've learned in this league is never get too high and never too low. We have obviously a ton of great talent on both sides of the ball, but at the end of the day, it's a one day at a time approach. We got a ton of work to do. Last year was last year, next year is next year, but we got to stay in the present and just get better one day at a time.
Max, what have been your first impressions, working with defensive line coach Frank O'Cam so far?
He's been awesome. It's cool. We have a good collective, with Frank and Bravo and Matt Edwards. We have a big group and everybody's working together to achieve a similar goal. We want to be the best, and we're working to be there every single day.
Max, I think last year when you made the Pro Bowl, you made some comment like you weren't even sure if you should expect it because you only had 8 sacks or something like that. I think we've moved past the point where we know that sacks aren't the be-all, end-all show what a great year you had, but does that mean something to you? Do you want to have a bit bigger sack total going forward?
That doesn't matter to me. At the end of the day, it's what you put on film. When you turn on the film, you can't hide. That shows who the best is and who isn't. So at the end of the day, regardless of my numbers, it doesn't matter to me. I just got to make as much. I know what it looks like and what it doesn't look like. And Coach Marinelli used to tell me that all the time. It doesn't matter what numbers you get. You can have 0 sacks, but your film is what's going to stand out, and that's what the coaches will realize. That's what the players will realize, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. So opinions are opinions and all that, but it's all about the film to me. So no matter what it is, I just got to be at my best every single play.
Max, this staff does a lot of teaching in the classroom. They're big on that. Are you enjoying that a little bit more, getting more in the classroom time?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Every coach is different. Everybody has their own approaches, all the way from high school to now. Every coach has a different philosophy, but it's all football at the end of the day. So I enjoy it. We have a great group. Our room alone. We just have a great energy in there. Rob Ryan's in there cracking jokes, and also is a great teacher at the same time. And you got to have both. Both. You got to have fun with it. At the end of the day, it's a game. And we're all in it together, man. We spend hours and hours every single day. So you just got to keep learning and get better.
Last year, you and Unique pushed each other back and forth all season long. How do you anticipate you and Chandler doing the same thing?
Yeah, last year, coming into the camp, it was a little bit different. Me and Jan had a great connection. And this year it's the same thing. Me and Chandler, we have an awesome connection. I've known him for years, so I'm super excited. This off season being with him was incredible. I try to push him every day. He tries to push me. So we just look forward to doing that every single day. No matter what, just finding new things to get better at, and keep picking each other's brains and lift up everybody around us.
Max, since this team made the playoffs last year, there's been a lot of expectations. New coach, big ticket players brought in like Chandler Jones and Devontae Adams. How is the locker room handling the expectations and kind of raising the bar as this year moves ahead?
At the end of the day, all that stuff is great. Devontae is incredible. He's a great teammate, great player. Chandler, all these guys, it's all the same, but it doesn't matter. Preseason hype is preseason hype. There's always going to be teams that get hyped up and things like that, but for us, we got to show up and do the groundwork. We got to do the footwork every single day, or we're not going to get to where we want to be. So at the end of the day, we're just trying to work to get better as a collective. I think we have the people to do it. We have great coaches, great players. We just got to keep working to get better as a unit every single day.
At this stage of your career, are there still nerves and anxiousness and excitement on the eve of training camp?
Oh, of course. Last night I'm watching Last Dance like I did last year before camp and the year before. It's the same thing. So, try to get my mind to a different place. Because once you start training camp, it's you got to be in a different place mentally. It's here now. So it's super exciting. Every single year it's always a new challenge, new goals, new things going on. But it's football at the end of the day. So there's nothing more I'd rather be doing on earth. So we're fired up.
Max, one thing you hear about this staff, it seems like all through OTAs and so forth, was the word accountability. Can you talk about the accountability and maybe an example of how important that is to this team?
Absolutely. At the end of the day, there's a standard, and that starts, with your individual group, the defense as a whole, the offense, everything. So being accountable for your group, there's got to be people who set the standard every single day. And personally, I try to be one of those guys that, all right, if we're running, we're doing conditioning tests, we're doing, whatever, I'm always try to max out in everything I do and try to elevate everybody around me. And we got to have a bunch of guys that do the same, you know, and I feel like we do. You know, Chandler's another guy like that. He's 32 years old. He was here at every single OTA. And you don't see that, you know, you don't see that often, and that's rare. Devontae Adams, same thing. He was here all offseason. The dude is the best receiver in football. So, Derek Carr, same thing. The dude's going into year 9, and he's here every single day. So, yeah, you know, we have great leadership on this team. We have a ton of guys that have done it at a high level. And the more people we get like that, the more leaders that come into it. Nate Hobbs, a guy who's been, you know, working his tail off and getting better every single day. That's going to attribute, you know, to getting this team better. And I think we're definitely going in the right direction.
Max, you mentioned off-season. I mean, did you have an off-season? You said you were working pretty much every day. And also the second part, Diaz or Shemaya, who are you going with?
I love it. I'll answer the first one first. You know, I always take a little break after the season. You know, obviously it's a ton. You know, a ton that goes into this. But 11 months out of the 12, I'm training and in football mode. So I have a teammate. You know, Duran, he was telling me about it. You know, I'm asking him like, how does Brady work, and what are the things he does that's been able to do it for so long? And he said when he first got to New England, Brady told him there's no such thing as an off season. So for me, that's kind of been my approach, is just no matter what, even if I'm not, you know, after the Bengals game, I still, you know, for me it was like, okay, there's a lot of guys that go on vacation for a month and eat whatever, and then you have to cut weight and do that. Like for me, I was still doing my normal routine, still meal prepping, still doing that, because that's what the great ones do. So for me, if I do that and show the younger guys that I'm doing this, and if I can do it, and you know, I've had success, I've got a second deal and things like that. If I can show a guy who's in his first or second year, like this is what it's supposed to be like, and inspire others to do it, I feel like it's going to help the team. So to answer your question, I don't really think there's an off season when, you know, you're trying to be the best at what you do. And then second, you already know the answer. Nate Diaz all day, baby.
You've implemented some MMA work into your routine. How does that help? And is there some transition or ways that, as a defensive lineman, you could utilize some of those skills?
Yeah, you know, this off season, this is the first time like I really, it was mostly boxing. You know, I worked boxing all off season and implemented that into my training. You know, I felt like last off season was really good for me, but there was certain things I wanted to take to another level. And just simple as getting up earlier and being here earlier. And then on off days, not just getting in the tubs and then going home. I'm gonna do boxing. I'm gonna do some core and just add little things into my routine. And that's what I've been doing. And I think boxing, you know, is incredible. You know, when it comes to timing, speed, conditioning, all those things, movement. And you know, I feel like that's definitely gonna help, you know, going into this season.
Max, I know you worked with Eric over at Extreme Couture MMA.
Yeah.
So you're working with pads and things like that. Has that training, the MMA training at all kind of inspired you to do more like that during the off season to kind of prepare yourself?
Yeah, you know, I know Eric, I know the guys at Syndicate and all them, you know, just being in the gym, seeing those guys, like last off season I got to see Strickland and like those guys spar and everything like that, just like being in that presence. Like I know, I feel like I'm, you know, a hard worker and everything like that, but you go in there and watch these guys train, like it's different. You know, they push themselves every single day, so like that inspires me. Just being around them and seeing how they work, you know, makes me try to pick up my level of intensity and pick up my training. So I know there's always more you can do, and that's always going to be my approach. It's another, you know, Rob Marinelli thing. You just like improve, and there's more. Like even when things are going good, things are going bad, there's always more you can do. So that's kind of my approach. So seeing those MMA guys, the shit they go through. Sorry, excuse my language. The things they go through. The things they go through is incredible. They beat each other up, again, beating up all the time. They have long training camps, and they still are going and working and working and working. So yeah, I just love like that mentality. Getting to actually work with them and working with boxers and things like that. I think it's, you know, just as important on the mental side. You know, just putting that into my game. You know, taking me to another, you know, level.
Two more. Q&K.
I know you're such a student of pass rushing and just your position in general. You said you watched Chandler for years. Now you see him up close a little bit. What like small detail does he do so well on the field that impresses you that, you know, that maybe a more novice might not notice?
I don't even know how to describe it, but Chandler's just the reason why I like even in college, like I always, you know, people would ask me what pass rushers do you look up to and things. Chandler was one of those guys that I looked up to, just because of his like unorthodox approach. And like seeing it on film is one thing. Then when you see him on the field, just like talk about it and explain what he's thinking about when he's like moving. And then you see him move, he's so long and bendy, and he's just a different, one of a kind type of rusher and talent. You know, like being around that, I don't even have to say anything. I just literally sit there and listen, because it's like, it's such a different approach, like the way he thinks about it, but that's what makes him great. And so, you know, just being around him and just soaking up that information is incredible. And, you know, he definitely inspires me every day to have, you know, do the things he's done, win a Super Bowl, 100+ sacks. Like, he sets the standard. He's been doing it for years and years, and he, you know, he's somebody I definitely look up to, and I can't wait to get out there with him.
Max, I know it's still a couple weeks away, but you mentioned after you signed your contract extension, you wanted to be a Hall of Famer. You had a lot of goals in your life. Going out to the Hall of Fame, what is that gonna mean to you to be able to see it, you know, soak it in, and also celebrate Cliff Branch?
Yeah, you know, it's huge. You know, I've never been there before, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, there's no more talking. You know, I just got to go and do what I do on a daily basis, and you know, down the road we could look back and, you know, see where I'm at. But it's definitely a big inspiration. Obviously, Cliff Branch, you know, him being a Hall of Famer, it's incredible. Mark is going to be the one. You know, Mr. Davis is going to be the one introducing and doing the whole, you know, breakdown and everything. So I know he's fired up about that. But it's just going to be a big day for the Raiders, man. We have so many great Hall of Famers, and getting to celebrate Cliff and the Raider organization is going to be a lot of fun.
All right, great. Thanks, Max.
Appreciate you,
Thanks,
guys.
man.
Thank you.